जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधार श्री वासदि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम हरे हरे। Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Ram Hare Hare. जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद. हरि नाम संकीर्तन की जय. श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. It is our Kirtan party. Ram Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Dhanavad pranam all goes to Srila Prabhupada. Thank you very much for joining.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yes, so we are expecting Ram Prabhu for doing Kirtan. Otherwise, we can start. Any one of you kids, can you please lead Kirtan? Madhura, Brinda, Prajna. Yes, Madhura Mataji. Go ahead.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll follow you. Okay.
Okay.
Start with Namo Vishnupadaya.
Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine.
Namo
Vishnupadaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale
Namaste Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Niti Namine.
Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashata Deshatarine.
Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar
Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavrinda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama, Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama, Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama Rama,
Rama, Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Hare,
Hare
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 Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare Krishna,
Hare
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare
Hare.
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare Rama,
Hare Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama
Rama
Rama,
Rama,
Hare Hare.
Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Krishna,
Krishna,
Krishna
Krishna
Krishna,
Krishna,
Hare
Hare
Hare,
Hare,
Hare
Sri
Rama,
Rama,
Hare
Hare
Rama,
Rama,
Rama Rama,
Rama Rama,
Hare
Hare
Hare.
Hare.
Jaya Jaya
Jai
Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Jaya Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada,
Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya
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 Prabhupada.
Jaya Jaya
Prabhupada.
Gurudev, 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 Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Jaya 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 Gurudev,
Gurudev,
Gurudev, Gurudev, Jaya Jaya Gurudev.
Nitya Gaur Hari Bol,
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol,
Hari
Nitya
Bol,
Gaur Hari Bol.
Nitya Gaur
Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol, Hari
Hari
Bol,
Bol,
Hari Bol, Sai Guru Hari Bol. हरि नाम संकीर्तन की,
Jai.
श्रील प्रभुपाद की. Thank you very much, Madhura Mataji, for wonderful kirtan. And thanks again for everyone.
Prabhuji, we had gotten late. We were attending
Everyone
another
for
class.
joining this online session, our weekly session, Friday. A systematic study of Srimad Bhagavad Gita, chapter 1. So let me offer my humble obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees of the Lord who are just like the desire trees who can fulfill all desires and are full of compassion to the fallen conditioned souls. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhya evascha patitanam pavanibhyo vaishnavibhyo namo namaha. Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrindi ki jai, Harinam Sankirtana ki jai, Samaveta Bhakta Vrindi ki jai, Gaur Premanandi Hari Hari Bol. Mukunda Krishna Prabhu has raised his hand. He wants to say something. Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
I'm sorry, Prabhuji, we had gotten late. We were in another class.
That's fine, Prabhuji. No problem. Thank you very much for joining again, even if it is late. And we would like to welcome Rama Chitirala Prabhu for the first time on this call. So let's welcome him by chanting 3 times Hari Bol. Hari Bol.
Hari,
Hari Bol.
Hari Bol.
Thank you for joining. So we'll start our class. Okay. We'll start with prayers. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Narayanam Namaskrityam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Naram Chaiva Narottamam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
Devim Saraswatim Vyasam
ततो जयमुदीरयेत् ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य
ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरगणस्य
ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया
ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया
चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन
चक्षुष्मिलितं येन
तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः।
तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः।
चैतन्यमनोभीष्टं
श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं
स्थापितं येन भूतले
स्थापितं येन भूतले
स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं
स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं
ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्।
ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्।
हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो
हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धो
दीनबन्धो जगत्पते
दीनबन्धो जगत्पते
गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता
गोपेश गोपिका कान्ता
राधाकान्ता नमोऽस्तुते।
राधाकान्ता नमस्ते।
सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी
सप्तकाञ्चन गौराङ्गी
राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी
राधे वृन्दावनेश्वरी
वृषभानुसुते देवी
वृषभानुसुते देवी
नमामि हरिप्रिये।
प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये।
वाञ्छकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च
कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एवश्च
कृपा सिन्धुभ्येव च
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
पतितानां पावनेभ्यो
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः।
नमो विष्णुपादाय
नमो विष्णुपादाय
कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले
कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले
श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त
श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त
स्वामिन्निति नामिने।
स्वामिनिति नामिने।
नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे
नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे
गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे
गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे
निर्विशेष शून्यवादी
निर्विशेष शून्यवादी
पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे
पश्चात्य देशतारिणे
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य
प्रभु नित्यानंद
प्रभु नित्यानंद
श्री अद्वैत गदाधार
श्री अद्वैत गदाधर
वासादि गौर भक्त वृंद
श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद।
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
हरे कृष्ण हरे कृष्ण
कृष्ण कृष्ण हरे हरे
कृष्ण हरे हरे
हरे राम हरे राम
हरे राम
राम राम हरे हरे
राम राम हरे हरे
मूकं करोति वाचालं
मुखं करोति वाचालं
अंगुं लंघयते गिरिं
अंगुं लंघयते गिरिं
यत्कृपातमहं वन्दे
यत्कृपा तदहं वन्दे
गुरुन् दीनतारणम्।
तं गुरुं दीनतारणम्।
हरे कृष्ण। So, as per our protocol, we would like to recap what we learned last session. So I would like to ask Madhura Mataji to start with, if you can recall.
I was here last session.
That's a good answer. Thank you. So, Shravanti Mataji, thank you for joining. Can you recall what we discussed last week?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
I think we did 1.10 and 1.11 shloka. And if anybody else can continue.
About 15.15 sloka. And you explained about 15.15 sloka.
What is that? What sloka is that?
No, not sure.
Sarvasya chaham hrisannivisto.
Sarvasya?
Chaham hridi sannivisto. Mata smritir gnanam apoham cha.
Apohanam.
Vedaischa sarve. I'm sorry, Prabhuji.
Apohanam.
Apohanam cha. Vedaischa sarver aham eva vedyo. Vedanta krit veda vid eva chaham.
Very nice. Can you just read the translation of it, please?
I'm seated in everyone's heart, and from me comes the remembrance, knowledge, and the forgetfulness. By all the Vedas, I am to be known. Indeed, I am the compiler of Vedanta, and I am the knower of the Vedas.
On what context we discuss this, Mataji?
1.9 Prabhuji Shloka, when Duryodhan said that lot of other warriors, like heroes, they're ready to give up life. So it's actually, it's implied that they're going to die. And it's like how it's not just his words, because Krishna speaks through us and he gives the knowledge, like for the Saraswati Devi, for what we have to utter. So Krishna kind of said it through Duryodhan that everybody is going to die in the war, like those who are supporting Duryodhan mainly. And then you gave two examples for Kumbhakarna, when Lord Brahma asked, like, what is the boon you want? He, instead of saying Nirda, he said Nidra. That's actually, that's when Saraswati
Nirdevatvam.
Nirdevatvam. So that's when Saraswati Devi entered on the tongue of Kumbhakarna, and she made, which is through Lord Krishna Sankalpam again. So that's the context you told us that, Prabhuji.
He said Nidravatvam.
Nidravat, not
Instead of Nirdevatvam, he said Nidravatvam. So he started sleeping from then on. Yes.
Yeah. And also Ravana, he asked, I don't want to be killed by any human,
Right.
Thinking that, that's the... So in a way, mainly Krishna is speaking through Duryodhana, giving an indication that all those who are going to support you will be killed.
Next, Ram Prabhu, you were not present last week, correct?
Yeah, Prabhuji, I missed last week, Prabhuji.
Yes. Nirmala Mataji was there. Can you share something?
Yes. Prabhuji, from text is 10th, what I wrote. Our strength is immeasurable and insufficient. Other party's strength is limited. This is thinking of Duryodhana. And because they are carefully protected by the Bhima, who is the Gadadhar, and
Nice. Thank you, Mataji. So, Brinda, Kirtida, you want to share some?
We weren't there last week.
Okay, that's a good answer.
I can share some more, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Arundhati Mataji is there. Let's give her a chance first. Arundhati Mataji.
Sure. Sorry, Prabhuji.
I'll pass it on this time, Prabhu.
Okay. Yeah, please make sure, we all take a note so that we learn something from the session.
Yes.
And then so that we remember, most importantly, we remember and we execute it. We just don't want to hear and then we don't want this hear from one ear and then leave from the other, right? Yes. So
yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. Once you finish, I think so you had given one homework to remember the sloka. So I was inspired, taking your word to remember. So I remember till 6, Prabhuji.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, Prabhu.
I want to tell that.
Yeah, we'll do that once Saujanya Mataji reviews the
yeah, that's,
and then we'll continue with the sloka and then we'll continue with our
please,
okay?
go ahead.
Yes, Saujanya Mataji, let's complete the review of last week. Okay. What
Sure,
was
Prabhuji.
meant?
The verse 10, the very first word of the shloka, that aparyaptam, that itself has two meanings, immeasurable and insufficient. Because Duryodhan had that, like he's proud that he has immeasurable the strength by the army, and also he's protected by Bhishma, because nobody can um, you know defeat him because of his Ichamrit wish. And on top of that, the way he compared with instead of comparing with Drishtadyumna, like perfect comparison from commander of chief of Kauravas and commander chief of Pandavas, instead of comparing Bhishma with Drishtadyumna, he compared with Bhima. He says Bhima is nothing in front of Bhishma, because Duryodhan was always Bhima conscious. He was like, he knew, how strong he was. He killed Kichaka, and so he knew he may be killed by Bhima, but he was very confident that he'll be protected by Bhishma, because Bhishma is very powerful, and he has that Ichamrityu wish. So, and the way he like Pandava army, he knew that Pandava army was in the form of Vajra, like diamond. So there will be like an important person in the center, and that's how. So he was saying, like, though Pandava's army is like that, and though we have Bhima, who is much lesser than Bhishma, we need to be safe, that we are protected by Bhishma, but at the same time, he was very confident. He was very confident that we are protected by Bhishma. And then the second verse, the last verse, was the 11th verse, and that's where he mainly emphasized about he didn't want to make other heroes less just because Bhishma was high. So he said, the rest of them are also powerful, and then you can be in different assigned strategic points, so that way you all protect Bhishma, that because he's also kind of old man, though he's warrior. So he was again diplomatic by giving importance to the other heroes and to Bhishma. And then the other thing you covered in this was I think that's what.
Yeah, thank you, Mataji. That's a lot information.
Thank you.
Review for me also.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, I want to mention one thing. Duryodhana has these three qualities. We can say, like, fear factor he had. He never trusted his army, and he has always fear from Pandavas, and he was diplomatic, and he was open speaking people. So that's why he was like he was never knew like what he is speaking, where to speak and what to speak. So whatever it's there in his mind, so he used to speak in front of everyone. So that make him like somehow opposite from the other people or Pandavas.
Nice. Mataji. Yeah, so those characteristics we don't want to have, right? That's the take off, right? Wonderful. That's nice.
One more thing, Prabhuji, when you started last week's session, one of the points that carried from the last week's session about the tongue, importance of tongue, then you made a good note about Ahara Shuddhi, Sattva Shuddhi, Dhruva Shuddhi. I don't know.
Ahara Shuddhau, Sattva Shuddhi.
Oh,
Shuddhau, Dhruva Anusmriti.
Anusmriti, sorry, yes. Yeah. So that was like good food, and then existence, Sattva Shuddhi. Then constant contemplation of God. So it comes from that order, like that's why the tongue, it's like you eat good food, and then
prasadam, eat only prasadam.
Eat only prasadam. and then you glorify. So that the importance of the tongue.
That's very important, actually. One of the most important points. See, these things we have to put into practice.
Yes.
Otherwise, it's just cross ventilation. We studied that also, right? We don't want to come into cross ventilation. Hear from one ear and then leave from others. So we have to put into practice seriously. Okay. Yeah. Thank you very much, Mataji. Actually, 1.11 we didn't. 1.10 we didn't completely. We didn't study. I think, right? Did we?
We did, Prabhuji, and in 1.11 it was very short, like you covered in 5 minutes.
Okay, so we'll go through from 1.11 after our Ram Kumar Prabhu reciting slokas. Okay, so probably every session we can have somebody recite some slokas, so that it takes hardly 5 minutes, less than 5 minutes. So that will be a review. Okay. Yes, Prabhu, please go ahead.
Yeah, Prabhuji, I will try it. Whether I can able to remember or not all.
That's fine, Prabhu. We are all trying,
Yeah.
all sadhakas.
Yeah, it goes like this. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Dhritarashtra Uvacha. Dharmakshetre Kurukshetre Samavetayi Utsavaha. Mamakaha Pandavaschaiva Kima Kurvat Sanjaya. Sanjaya Uvacha. Drishtva tu Pandavanikam Vyudam Duryodhanastadha Acharyam Upasangamyam Raja Bachanam Abarbet Pasyatam Pandu Putranam Acharyam Mahati Chamamum Vyudam Drupad Putrena Tausi Sena Dhimata Atra Sura Mahesvasa Bhimarjuna Samayudhi Yudana Viratascha Drupadascha Maharatha Drishtaketuscha Kasi Rajascha Biryavan Yuyudhanascha
Vijit Kunti Bojas.
Yuyudhanascha
Purujit.
Purujit Kunti Bhojascha. Oh, sorry, it's going somewhere. Let me try.
No, correct. Purujit Kunti Bojascha Saibhyascha Narapunga.
Purujit Kunti Bhojascha Saibhyascha Narapungavaha. Yuddhamanyuscha Vikranta Utmojascha Viryavan. Saubhadro Drepadeyascha Sarva Eva Maharatha.
Wonderful, Prabhu. That's really good. Thank you very much. So we'll practice this sloka also. One of the assignments going forward. So let's get into the new. So 1.11. Can Prajna Mataji read that? 1.11.
Prashneनु cha Ayaneshu cha sarveshu
Ayaneshu cha sarveshu
yata bhagam avashtita
yata bhagam avastitaha
bhishmam iva birakshanu
Bhishmam
bhavanta sarva eva hi.
Bhavanta sarva eva hi. Translation, please.
All you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Brinda Mataji, can you read the purport? Brinda.
After praising the powers of Bhishma, further considered the other might think that they had been considered less important. So, in his usual diplomatic way, he tried to adjust the situation in the above words. He emphasized that Bhishma Dev was undoubtedly the great hero, but he was an old man, so everyone must especially think of his protection from all sides. He might become engaged in the fight, and the enemy might take advantage of his full engagement on one side. Therefore, it was important that other heroes not leave their strategic positions and allow the enemy to break the balance. Duryodhana clearly felt that the victory of Kurus depended on the presence of Bhishma Dev. He was confident of the full support of Bhishma Dev and Dronacharya in the battle because he well knew that they did not speak a word when Arjuna's wife Draupadi, in her helpless condition, had appealed to them for justice while she was being forced to appear naked in the presence of all the great generals in the assembly. Although he knew that the two generals had some sort of affection with the Pandavas, he hoped that these generals would now completely give it up as they had done during their gambling performance.
Thank you. So, Ayaneshu cha sarveshu yata bhagam avastitaha Bhishmam evabhirakshantu bhavantaha sarva evahi. So, all of you must now give full support to Grandfather Bhishma as you stand at your respective strategic points of entrance into the phalanx of the army. So, as Saujanya Mataji was mentioning, so there was a pattern of army assembled. Okay, so Pandavas were in the Vajra form and Kauravas were in the Garuda form. So Garuda form, there'll be a face and then wings. So that kind of arrangement, and Pandavas were in the Vajra form. So the important person, who is the Yudhishthira, was in the middle, and then the front face was Bhima, right? So Bhima was a protector. So just by seeing Bhima, people used to get very scared. He's a very powerful person. That is why he was in the forefront. And in the Kaurava side, Dronacharya, Bhishma, they were all there in the front, right? So here he says, Ayaneshu, in the strategic points, like, when the army is formed, so there might be some loopholes here and there, so the enemies there are chances that enemies can enter into that loopholes and get into the army side. Right, so he's saying that he's alerting the army people that in your strategic points, make sure that everywhere, it is arranged properly. You are situated properly, and give full support to Bhishma Pitama, full support. So why he's saying this? Bhishma Pitamaha basically is the commander-in-chief, right? Why you have to give support to Bhishma Pitamaha? Because internally Duryodhan is thinking that he is an old person. Bhishma Pitamaha may not have that much power as the other Maharathis, and he is an old person, and he is the oldest actually among all the army men. And at the same time, he never had trust in Bhishma Pitamaha, because he was always favorable to Pandavas, right? That we all know. So that is why he's saying, at least you encourage Bhishma.
Out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Hare Krishna. Just a minute. Easy. Sorry about that. So, so Duryodhan is saying that internally he feels that Bhishma Pitama is very, very, very old, so he may not have that much power. At the same time, he also thinks that Bhishma Pitamaha had this Icha Mrityu, right? As long as Bhishma Pitamaha is in his army, that nobody can defeat. So he had the Icha Mrityu. And we also know that Bhishma Pitamaha, before even the war began, that Yudhishthir Maharaj, he went to Bhishma Pitama to ask, to get his blessings. At the same time, ask Bhishma Pitamaha, is there any way, or what is the way that you get defeated? And he had told that, okay, when time comes, I'll let you know about this. So Bhishma Pitamaha had this Icha Mrityu. So unless he keeps his weapons down, nobody can defeat. So if you go back to the history, that on the 9th night of the fight, right, the day before Bhishma Pitamaha dies and falls on the bed of arrows, on 9th night, Bhishma Pitamaha receives this Yudhishthir Maharaj. Yudhishthir Maharaj goes to Bhishma Pitamaha and says that, Bhishma Pitamaha, what is the way? He asks the same, he repeats the same question. What is the way that, because I don't want to fight anymore because it's so devastating. People are dying left and right. So much bloodshed. I don't want to continue this war. So what is the way that we can defeat you? Unless you get defeated, that we don't win the war. So he asks the same question again. So Bhishma Pitamaha says, he actually gives 8 different points. So you have to remember this 8 different points when Bhishma Pitamaha can be defeated. Okay, so first reason he gives is that whenever, if the shield, shield means all these army people, they wear, right, the shield. Whenever the shield or the weapons of the opposite fighter is broken, then I say I will put my weapons down. So I give them the chance to pick up another weapon to fight. So when my weapons are down, that is when I can be killed. So there are 8 reasons he says when he will put his weapons down, because he says until and unless I put my weapons down, I cannot be killed. So first reason he gives is when shield or weapons of other fighter is broken, then I will give them some time to pick up a new weapon to fight. So then I'll put my weapons down. So I'll be idle. I'm not going to fight. The second reason he gives is when the other person's weapon falls down from their hands. So then I put my weapon down, because I'll give them some time to pick up those other weapons, and then fight. So then I'll put my weapon down. So that means then I'll be silent, idle. So the third reason he gives, so when they become coward, right? So seeing Bhishma Pitamaha fighting in such a manner, if they become coward and then they start running away from the battlefield, that I don't want to fight anymore, then he's not going to fight against that person. He's going to put his weapons down. So that's the third reason. And fourth reason he gives, when somebody comes and surrenders onto him, right? When somebody surrenders that I don't want to fight anymore, I accept my defeat, so please don't kill me, then I will put my weapons down. That's the fourth reason he gives. And fifth reason he gives is that when he finds some feminine name, then he'll put his weapons down. So you find somebody with the feminine name, he'll put the weapon down. That's the fifth reason. And sixth reason he gives, that if someone is the only son of the mother, then he's not going to kill him. Then he'll put his weapons down. That's the sixth reason. Seventh reason he says that if a person opposite to me who is fighting, if he is handicapped in any ways, like his hands are broken or legs are broken or anything, if he is handicapped in the war, then he is not going to fight against that person. Then he says he'll keep his weapons down. And the eighth reason he says that if a person in front of him is a female, then he will put his weapons down. So these are the 8 reasons he gives when he will put his weapons down, so that the other opposite person can kill him. So Yudhishthir Maharaj says, okay, now thank you very much, Bhishma Pitamaha, for giving all these ways to kill you. But let me ask you, so what is the best way out of these 8 reasons you gave? What is the best way we can employ to kill you? See, this is a beauty. This is a greatness of great people. Great people. Like we studied this. Arundhati Mataji has raised the hands. You have any question, Mataji?
Yes, Prabhu. The fourth point I missed. Can you tell me, Prabhu? It was before that when he finds a feminine name. Before that fourth point.
Before that is, if somebody he comes to Bhishma Pitamaha and surrenders because he does not want to fight, or he knows that he won't win against Bhishma Pitamaha, he wants to surrender. So he will come and say, please don't kill me. So then he won't raise his weapons. He will keep his weapons down.
Thank you, Prabhu.
That is the fourth reason. Okay. So when Yudhishthir Maharaj asks, out of these 8 reasons you gave, which one we could employ? See, this is the beauty of this Kshatriyas, right? Especially greatness of Bhishma Pitamaha is that not even Bhishma Pitamaha, even the Dronacharya, right? We all know Dronacharya and Drupada story, right? So even though Dronacharya knew that Drupada's son would kill him, but still he trained him, right? Even though, so these are the greatness of these great warriors. Actually, even Bhishma Pitama is telling their secrets how to kill himself, right? So Srila Prabhupada in one of the purports actually he mentions what is a simplicity of a great soul. Simplicity is not that the English word simplicity. English word simplicity is different, to be simple, but Srila Prabhupada explains in a very great manner that the greatness of elevated soul, who is very so simple in life, the simplicity means that it is a quality of that devotee where he is so transparent that he is ready to reveal the secrets even to his enemies. So that is the simplicity. So this is what we have to take home, the characteristics from Bhishma Pitamaha, right? So he is so simple that he is revealing his secrets to kill himself. So he says that Shikandi, you can keep Shikandi in front of me. She's a female. Then I cannot. I'll keep my weapons down. And actually, she has taken birth to kill him. He knows. So then he says Arjuna can shoot arrows. You all know the story, right? So that is a greatness. So in this verse, we can take home is that the greatness of Bhishma Pitamaha. So we eventually will learn more about him, but how Duryodhana's attitude towards Bhishma Pitamaha, right, is actually humiliating. In fact, when he's telling all these things, then it is implicit that he's humiliating Bhishma Pitamaha, that you cannot win, you are very old, you cannot fight, so I'm asking others to protect you. So that is actually a humiliating way, right? Is diplomatically humiliating. But Bhishma Pitamaha being is a grandfather, in spite of hearing all these things from Duryodhan, so he's actually getting frustrated. He's not frustrated, I would say tired of hearing this Duryodhan talking all this diplomatic way of putting him down. So now Bhishma Pitamaha will act on it. Okay, so the coming sloka is what it is. Bhishma Pitamaha will act on it. So it is 1.12. We'll go to the next sloka. Who else can? Is Mukunda Prabhu there? Okay, Kanchan Mataji.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhuji, they are there.
Yes, 1.12.
Tasya sanjana yan harsham
Tasya
Tasya
sanjanayan
sanjanayan
Guru vridhadapi tamaha
Kuru
Vruddha Pitamaha
Simhanadam vina dyoche
Simhanadam Vinadyoche
Sankham dal dhamam pratapavan
Sangam
Dhamma
Pratapavan.
Translation, please.
Then Bhishma, the great violent grandson of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like the roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy.
Wonderful. Purport, please.
The grandson of the Kuru dynasty could understand the inner meaning of the heart of his grandson Duryodhana, and out of his natural compassion for him, he tried to cheer him by blowing his conch shell very loudly, befitting his position as a lion. Indirectly, by the symbolism of the conch shell, he informed his depressed grandson Duryodhana that he had no chance of victory in the battle, because the Supreme Lord Krishna was on the other side, but still chose his duty to conduct the fight, and no pains would be spared in that connection. Hare Krishna Prabhu. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. So, Tasya Sanjanayan Arsham Kuru Vriddha Pitamaha Simmanadam Vinodyachai Shankam Dadmo Pradapavan. So then Bhishma, the great valiant grandson of the Kuru dynasty, the grandfather of the fighters, blew his conch shell very loudly, making a sound like a roar of a lion, giving Duryodhana joy. So all these time, Duryodhana is speaking. Duryodhana is speaking to Dronacharya, and next to Dronacharya is our Bhishma Pitama, who is hearing. And as I said, it is implicitly Duryodhana is humiliating Bhishma Pitama, putting him down, that he is old and he is partial, he is compassionate to Pandavas, he might not fight to the fullest. So Bhishma Pitama is really tired, getting bored hearing all these things. Okay, so now see, that is what normal adults, if they get irritated, right? If grandson or younger to them, they are speaking or humiliating those people, they really get irritated. And then if somebody would have been in the shoes of Bhishma Pitama, they would have already left the battle. I don't want to fight this war. When you are speaking all this nonsense, why should I fight? So some normal person would have done that. But the greatness of Bhishma Pitama is, two things we can understand. First thing is that he immediately started blowing the conch shell. So that means he wants to stop whatever this Duryodhana is speaking about. So he wanted to stop that. And second thing, he wanted to show Duryodhana that I am supporting you, don't worry. So that is why he is blowing the conch shell. So first thing is he wanted to stop Duryodhana talking nonsense. Secondly, he is his grandson anyways, right? So let me give him some confidence and some joy by blowing this conch shell. So Duryodhana also, as soon as this Bhishma Pitama blows this conch shell, Duryodhana thinking that, oh, I gave such a nice motivational talk, so that grandfather is inspired. So he is blowing the conch shell. So he is ready to fight. That is good. That's a good sign. Okay. So that's what Duryodhana is thinking from his side. Okay. Suddenly, this conch shell, actually, we can learn more about this conch shell, because even in temple, before we start any activity, right, before even we wake up or we open the screens, we blow a conch shell, right? So conch shells are very, very, very transcendental. In fact, it has come from ages, this conch shell. Even Krishna has a conch shell, right? So this conch shell sounds, especially the sound vibration coming out of this conch shell, they are very transcendental. So to eradicate all the inauspiciousness in our environment, so we blow conch shells. There are a lot of other significance also. So here in this context is blowing the conch shell. There are many reasons, but one of the reasons is that he's alerting the army that the fight is going to start now. Be ready, because that's the protocol. So before you start the war, it is not that guerrilla war what we have. We hide behind nowadays. They bomb. They don't even make sure the other person is aware of their fighting. It is not like that. The war in Kurukshetra was completely disciplined war. So here he is blowing the conch shell, saying that the fight is about to begin. And as I said, the conch shell also removes all this inauspiciousness around wherever it travels. See, they could have, somebody can ask, oh, they could have used another instrument like flute or any other instrument, right? No, the conch shell is the one which generates sound, the transcendental sound. It reaches the more distance compared to any other instrument. So, and also at the same time, as I said, it is very auspicious sound. It removes all the inauspicious. It's also a symbol of purity, auspiciousness, fame, longevity, and prosperity. So all these are the characteristics of the sound coming out of conch shell. So that is why we blow that even in the temple. Even though temple is a place of worship, it is a pure place, but still, we always blow the conch shell, right? Similarly, like when we do yagna is so pure, right? But we chant this mantra. Do you remember that mantra? Om apavitra pavitro va sarva vastam gatopi va yasmaret pundari kaksham sabhashya bhyantara suchi. So that means even one is apavitra, pure or impure, so it will remove all this inauspiciousness before we perform this yagna. So similarly, the fight is going to happen, or even in the temple. For example, I gave you the example of temple, that when the temple is a pure place, that sound will remove even the little inauspiciousness which is there. So here, in especially coming to this context, the fight, right? The fight is basically completely tamasic. Now, so much tamasic energy is there in the battle. It is very forceful, the tamasic energy. To remove this tamasic energy, and conch shell they blow conch shell, which gives the sattvic vibration. Sattvic means goodness vibration. Also, the asuric vibrations. Asuric means, see, there are so many dead bodies, so many people die, bloodshed. These are all tamasic and asuric. So when conch shells are blown, all these bhuta,
Hello,
preta.
Samatik.
Sorry, Mataji.
Sorry, Prabhu. I was not in mute. No, what was that, Prabhu? What was that vibration called?
Now, the sound vibration coming out of the conch shell, they are very transcendental. They are very auspicious. Okay, so they bring you fame, longevity, prosperity, and then these vibrations are very, very important, especially in the battlefield, because battle is just fighting, right? Killing people, bloodshed, so much. It's all asuric, demonic actually. So then there are dead bodies. There may be bhutas, pretas, all those things. So all those things can be eradicated by this conch shell. So that is why before beginning of the fight, at each day they blow this conch shell, right? So to eradicate all these things. So that is one many important aspects of this conch shell. So here, coming to this context, he says, Vriddha. Now, if you see that, Kuru Vriddha Pitamaha, Kuru Vriddha. So he's grandchild of Kuru dynasty Bhishma. So that means, he's actually the oldest right now in the battlefield. He is the oldest. But now it is not just as we discussed. Each word will have different meaning, right? So Vriddha here, it means it's a old person. But in this context, actually, Vriddha means Vriddhi. Vriddhi means growth. So in normal condition, our growth, when we grow, when we become old, right? So we lose memory power, or we lose power, right? These are the general characteristics of becoming old. But in case of Bhishma Pitamaha, right? He was so powerful even at that age. Now, what was his age? What was his age? Bhishma Pitamaha's age?
128 years. I think 128 or 120.
Yes. I think you said 189,
190 years. Okay, so Bhishma Pitamaha was very old. He's the oldest. So even at that age, he was so powerful. So this meaning of Vriddha is not just old, but he had all the characteristics, all the good characteristics. That means all the sattvic gunas, along with his body growing, all the sattvic gunas were very well imbibed in him. Okay. So because he got when he was young, right? You all know this story, right? He got trained by Devatas. He was also called Devavrita, right? He got training from Parashuram, So even at this age, he was so powerful. The example we can say, if you go back to history, that he once defeated his guru also. His guru Parashuram, he defeated. Do you remember? Anyone remember the pastime of that?
When Amba went. Yeah, when Amba went.
Yes, go ahead.
You want to say?
You want to? Please go ahead.
Prajna, you want to say?
Kirti, yeah, Prajna want to say?
When Amba goes.
When Amba thinks that
Bhishma did a mistake.
Bhishma did a mistake and she didn't make a mistake, even though it was the opposite. And so Parashuram and Bhishma make like a fake fight.
Not fake.
It was a
real fight.
Real. It's okay.
So basically they make a fight, and then Mother Ganga comes.
Based on the serial she's telling, Prabhuji.
Okay. So yeah,
Actually,
somebody else can share that also. Any kids?
what
Any kids
happens
want
is,
to? Surut Prabhu wants to share. That's good.
Amba. So Amba asked Bhishma if he can marry Amba. But Bhishma said no. So Amba thought he didn't accept. He didn't accept. So she went. She wanted to punish Bhishma. So Bhishma said only Parashurama can punish him because he's his guru. So she went to Parashuram and asked if you can punish Bhishma. But the first time Parashurama said no, and then he went back, and then Amba made like fire and said she's gonna go inside, but Parashuram came outside and said, "Okay, I will go and punish Bhishma." So they had a fight, and Mother Ganga saw. And then she prayed to Lord Shiva, and Lord Shiva came and stopped the fight.
Nice. Thank you. Thank you very much. So here Amba goes to Parashuram and asking that your disciple is not marrying me. Okay, and she can't go back to Shalya also, because he rejects her, because Bhishma Pitama abducts Amba. So Amba is in a jinx right now, so she can't do anything. So she goes to Parashuram asking for help. Parashuram goes and asks Bhishma Pitama, you have to get married. He says, no, I have taken a vow, I cannot get married. So no, you cannot do that. So then there is a deal between them saying that if you fight me and if you defeat me, then I will let you do whatever you want to do. So there will be a fight, a serious fight about for almost 23 days. Parashurama is also not a normal warrior. Actually, there is a history behind Parashurama also, that he goes around and defeating 21 times all the Kshatriya around the world. Right? He's so powerful. So there is a great fight between Parashuram and Bhishma Pitama for 23 days, and then there is a defeat. He'll accept the defeat, and then Bhishma Pitama is allowed to do whatever he wants. Then Amba, with no option now, then she does rigorous penance, and then all the other story continues. All that. So here the context is that Bhishma Pitama is not an ordinary warrior. He's such a powerful warrior. He defeated his own guru. And there is another example also in the Agra Puja. When the Rajasuya Yagna was happening in the Agra Puja, Bhishma Pitama will be humiliated by Shishupal. Shishupal humiliates Bhishma Pitama. You are an old person, what you can do. Then when Bhishma Pitama says that we have to do Agra Puja to Krishna, then Shishupal starts humiliating him. And Bhishma Pitama actually comes forward with raging words, saying that anybody who has dared to come here and stop me from doing this, nobody comes forward. So Bhishma Pitama is such a powerful warrior. He's not a normal person. Actually, Bhishma Pitama is also one of the 12 Mahajans. You know Mahajans, right? Do you know who are those Mahajans?
Actually, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, I'm sorry to interrupt you, but isn't he the 8th Vasu?
Yes, he is the 8th Vasu. That is his past life. Okay.
Yeah.
He is the 8th Vasu. But in this, we didn't go to his past life. But here he is also 12 Mahajans. Out of one, he is one of the Mahajans actually. So if you remember Mahajans, you can share. Do you remember Mahajans? Who are those? So the whole highlight is that I'm saying Bhishma Pitama is not a ordinary warrior. He's a great warrior, very powerful even at this age. So Duryodhan doesn't know all these things. Duryodhan doesn't realize all these things. He thinks Bhishma Pitama is very old, he can't do anything. That is why he's asking his army men to protect Bhishma Pitama, commander-in-chief. Okay, so he single-handedly can defeat the whole Pandavas. But Bhishma Pitama knows that Krishna is on the other side, and how much ever powerful Bhishma Pitama is, doesn't matter. If Krishna is on the other side, whichever side Krishna is, then that side is going to win. He knows all these things, right? Because he realizes the real dharma. That is why these Mahajans, if you take the characteristics of these Mahajans, right? Mahajans, they know the real dharma, real essence of life. So it is described in Srimad Bhagavatam. If you remember that we already went through these 12 Mahajans in Shravanti Mataji, right? Can you remember that?
I remember, Prabhuji.
Yes, go ahead, Prabhu. Who are those 12 Mahajans?
Yeah, Prabhuji. Swayambho Narada Sambho Kumara Kapila Manu Prahalado Janko Bhisma Balir Vyasakir Vayam. So Swayambho Lord Brahma himself and Swayambho Narad and Sambho Lord Shiva, Kapila Manu. Kapil means Kapila.
Kumara.
Kumara, four Kumaraj, and Kapila, Kapil Muni, and Manu. Manu means Manu, the Swamo Manu, and then Prahalado Janako Visma. So Prahalad Maharaj and Janak Maharaj, and Visma, which we are talking about. So and Balir Vyasakir Vayam. So Bali Maharaj and Vyaskir, that is the Vyasdevji's son, Sukhdev Goswami, and Vayam. So Yamaraj is saying himself. This is Yamaraj Uvacha, Yamai Vacha. So Vayam means myself. So Yamaraj.
Nice. Thank you, Prabhu. So Yamaraj, this comes in the episode of Ajamil, right? When Ajamil, the Yamadutas and Devadutas come, all that, so episode, details, So Yamaraj is telling to his servants that all these 12 are Mahajans. Why they are Mahajans? So it comes in next sloka. So what are the characteristics of Mahajan? See, why we are discussing here is that, Bhishma Pitama is not an ordinary person, because he knew what is the real dharma. So that is what is described in the next sloka. Bhagavatam, Dvadashaite Vijanimo Dharmam Bhagavatam Bhata Gushyam Vishudam Durbodham Yam Gnatva Amritam Ashnute. So he says that, this dharmam, the real religious principles, these people, why they are called Mahajans? Because they know the real religious principles, and also they know what is the way to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Bhagavatam, Dharmam, Bhagavatam, Bhata. Bhata means dear servants. Yamaraj is telling this to his servants that the real religious principles they know, and they also know how to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Because it's not for an ordinary person. Why? Because it is very Gushyam, Vishuddham, Durbodham. These are the three things. Gushyam means it's very confidential. Even in Bhagavad Gita, we study this, right? Gushyam. This word comes in one of the slokas. Gushyam. It's very confidential. What is very confidential? The way how to love the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Very confidential. Vishuddham. It is transcendental, because it's not contaminated by any of the material modes of nature. And it is not easily understood. It is Durbodham. The love of Godhead, it is not very easily understood. It is Durbodham. So by understanding these aspects, one can really enjoy in life. And these Mahajans have these characteristics. They understand the real religious principles and also the love of God. How the love of God can be made. So here it is proving that Bhishma Pitamaha, even though he is very old, is very energetic. So not like nowadays, even if you take Kirtida has her hand raised. Yes, Kirtida.
Yeah, I just wanted to share, Prabhu, like when you said Bhishma also is one of the Mahajans. And I just wanted to say, like, that was the reason why Krishna at the end, when Bhishma was in the deathbed, he took all the Pandavas, so that Bhishma, once he dies, he doesn't take away the knowledge what he had about everything, doesn't end there. Instead, it had to be passed on to someone else. That's why he took all the Pandavas there. So he also felt that the knowledge what Bhishma had was very high. I
Yes.
just wanted to share that.
Thank you. That's a good point, actually, because eventually you'll explain so much, all the Veda, everything to all of them. So that's a good point. Thank you. So the take home here after learning about Bhishma Pitamaha is that, is very, very, very energetic, even at this age. Not like nowadays, even if you take a 20-year-old person or 25-year-old person, if you ask Prabhu, can you do this service? Oh no, Prabhu, no, my body is aching. I'm not really interested, or they give some reasons. No, Prabhu, I don't have time. All these exceptions they give, but the real spirituality means, Yugal Kishore Prabhu has told many times, real spirituality means that one has to be enthusiastic at any point of time in your life. One has to be enthusiastic, inquisitive to know. We already studied this, Atato Brahma Jignasa, right? So one has to be inquisitive throughout his spiritual life. One has to be energetic. One has to be enthusiastic. So the spirit you should maintain always, and that spirit you can maintain only if you have knowledge, and that knowledge you can get only if you do proper austerities, right? So we already, Sojanya Mataji told that one of the austerities is that ahara shuddhau sattva shuddhau dhruvanusmriti. So that is one of the aspects. Like by food, by taking proper prasadam, you can always remember, contemplate on Lord. So that is one of the main aspects of it. So Bhishma Pitamaha was so much enthusiastic. So that is why he's blowing this conch shell in such an energy that the conch shell is making what? It is making like a roar of a lion. The sound is coming like a roar of a lion and giving Duryodhan joy. Okay, so the take home here from this verse is that Bhishma Pitamaha is so energetic. We have to be always enthusiastic, and we always have to engage our senses. It's not that we just do lip service. We see, so some people just talk so nicely. Feel, oh wow, wonderful Prabhu preacher. But when it comes to services, that they always give some excuses. Oh Prabhu, I'm very, very busy. I cannot do this. No. So the thing is, we have to, like how Bhishma Pitama is engaging all his senses now in order to fight, right? Even at this age, with so much enthusiasm, that we also have to have throughout our spiritual life, throughout our journey. We have to have this enthusiasm, we have to have this energy, and we have to engage all our senses in order to please the Lord and the devotees of the Lord. For the pleasure of Krishna, we have to do that. So that is what we can take home from this verse. So I will end here. If you have any questions, comments, discussions, suggestions, complaints, please.
I have a question, Prabhuji.
Yes, Mataji.
In the purport for this shloka 112,
112, right? The one which we discussed now.
The third sentence says, indirectly by the symbolism of the conch shell, he informed his depressed grandson Duryodhana that he had no chance of victory in the battle.
Correct.
Because Supreme Lord Krishna was on the other side. But by blowing the conch shell, it's always like they did their part, like both the parties, they blew the conch shell. But why it is specifically saying by blowing the conch shell, symbolizing that there is no chance of victory.
See, here you have to look at from Duryodhana's point of view also. In fact, before even, just to give you a background, before even the war started, right? Bhishma Pitama, he knew that they are not going to win. Right? Forget about Bhishma Pitama. Even Duryodhan knew that he is not going to win. Even though he's talking so many, all these 14 verses he's talking, right? He's praising his army, Pandava's army, and then his army, and then he's giving so much confidence and talking so much in a diplomatic manner. He himself, he knows that he's not going to win. Right? It is just his ego is stopping, that he cannot admit that he's going to, or he does not want to give anything to Pandavas. That is his ego, the big ego. But he knows internally that he's not going to win. Right? So even if you forget Duryodhan, even Karna, he knew that he's not going to win. The example is that when Krishna goes to Hastinapur for peacemaking, right? Remember this episode, right? At that time, he will call Karna on the side. After all talking, he says, Karna, you are not Radheya, you are not son of Radha. Radhe, his name is Radhe, you are not son of Radheya, but you are Kaunteya, you are son of Kunti. Okay, so if you want, I can make you the king, the whole kingdom, I can make you the king, and under your jurisdiction, I can make these Pandavas work for you. Krishna tells this, I will get it done. You just accept this, that you don't want to fight against your own people. Then Karna says, Krishna, I know all these things, okay, and I know we are not going to win. I definitely know, right? But I don't want to leave Duryodhan because he supported me so much. Okay, so we all know that episode, right? So even Karna knew before even fighting. Karna knew everything. Karna is a very good person. There are so many good qualities. We can discuss about the qualities of Karna and pastimes of Karna in some other chapter. But Karna knew everything. He knew that he is doing wrong. He knew that Duryodhan is doing wrong. Right? So even though Bhishma Pitama is blowing the conch shell, it indicates that Krishna is on the other side. Doesn't matter how powerful, that is what I'm saying. Doesn't matter how powerful the sound vibration of the conch shell is, but Krishna is the topmost. Wherever Krishna is present, there is victory. Right? We know this last sloka of Bhagavad Gita. We don't want to jump around, but you know that, right? Yatra partho dhanurdaraha. You know that, right? So wherever Krishna is there, wherever Partha is there, there is a victory. So Bhishma Pitamaha very well knows. You got my point, Mataji?
Yes, thank you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Yes. Anyone else wants to share anything or have any questions?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Parima Mataji, Hari Bol.
Yes, Hare Krishna. I
Thank you
just
for
wanted
joining.
to
Yeah.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada and all glories to all the assembled Vaishnavas here. Please accept my Dandavat Pranams. I just wanted to say that from what I had read, I mean, about the Mahabharata, there is one thing that I had already read, that Karna with all his good qualities, but in the courtroom, when the game of dice was being played, and when Draupadi was dragged, he did not oppose.
Yes.
In fact, he called Draupadi a prostitute because she had 5 husbands. And also in the war, when Abhimanyu was unarmed, he was a young boy of 16. He did not have a weapon. Everyone broke the rule, and the rule was there will only be dual fighting. A Maharathi will fight a Maharathi, and Adhirathi will fight an Adhirathi. So 1-to-1 fight. But Abhimanyu was killed on all sides, and he participated in that killing. So what I have read is, in spite of all your austerities, all your good qualities, but one sinful act can outweigh all that austerities, and it can push you to hell. So this is what I have gathered from other sources, and I just wanted to share. And if I'm wrong, please correct me.
No,
Hare Krishna.
this is a very good point actually. So that is where, thank you Mataji for sharing. So all these things happened because of one bad association, you know. So Karna's behavior, his activities, everything is the repercussion of his association with Duryodhana. As such, Karna's pastimes, if you see, is a very good person actually. So here what we have to learn is that even though if we are good, even though if we are having good characteristics, our good intentions, but if our association is not good, all our intentions will be defeated.
Yeah,
It's like,
Prabhuji, just
though you know dharma, if you don't support dharma, it's waste.
Correct.
Yeah, because no vow or no loyalty is greater than dharma. Actually, that is the biggest thing. Actually, what I learned, Bhishma Pitamaha's vow that he will see his father in the king who is ruling. All those vows, all those loyalties is nothing before dharma. When it comes to dharma, you have to give up all that. Like how Vidura did. He said, I will not fight. I'll just leave. I don't want to be the minister because I don't want to be held responsible for this. Because he was Dharmaraj, incarnation of Dharmaraj himself. So, I mean, this is what I have learned. And if there is anything, please let me know.
No, thank you, Mataji. That's good.
yeah,
Else?
Prabhuji just wanted to tell. So when Karna met to Krishna, when Krishna finally told you are not Kanteya, I mean so you are not Radheya, you are Kanteya. So on that time he said, okay, then it is like what we have done the sins or mistake there in the while Draupadi Chirharan. So what Mataji was mentioning just now. So this is good time to repay. Like I should not leave. I should die. So I will have to fight. And second thing, like the way he had associated with Duryodhana. So he has eaten food from Duryodhana. So like just we were talking before sometime like ahar suddha sattva suddha, right? So जैसा खाएंगे जैसा खाएंगे वैसा मन. So whatever we will eat. So he was eating the sins, and so he had to get that reactions of the sins, right? So he decided not to go to the Pandava side, rather than to go to the Kaurava side to get his blood out, and I mean to die for this life, because he had done the sins. So he mentioned there with Krishna, I cannot show them saying that I am Kanteya and I will take your crown. So no, I can't do that. I will have to die. And that's what he promised to Kunti Mata as well. Your count will be always maintained. So he was directly and indirectly both way. He was saying that I will not be there. It's not like a count means any one of will go off. No, I will go off. So that's how it is. Prabhuji, just wanted to mention. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Very well. Anyone else?
Murli Prabhu, this is Nikhil.
Yes, Prabhu.
Yeah, so whatever Parima Mataji said is absolutely right. And then I just wanted to take that last thing, what you said. Association is the key, right?
Yes.
So just wanted to share thoughts. I have already shared these thoughts within the group. Most of you must have already read, but just it's really important message how we should live the life. And obviously association is real key, because that makes you a better person versus a bad person, right? Because everything drives based on association, and obviously if association is good, then things go well. So it's a very simple message. I just wanted to repeat that. so that everybody please understand it, like listen it very carefully. So God has made our human body in such a way that we can't even pat ourselves, right, on our own back. Also at the same time, we can't kick our own self, right? We can't kick ourselves. So association is really key. And that's why within our life, we need a person who is our well-wisher as well as appreciator. If we do something good, he should appreciate us, right? But also at the same time, if we do something wrong, he should be able to criticize us, right? So associate with the people who act as mirror whenever it's needed, and also act as your shadow and never leaves you, because shadow never leaves you and mirror never lies, right? So associate with those kind of people. The next thing is, before you start praying, make sure that you have faith. Otherwise, if you don't have any faith, if you start praying, it has no sense, right? Before you speak, try to listen what others are saying. Then only you open your mouth and then speak, right? Before spending anything or money, try to learn to earn that money, right? Otherwise, there is no value for that. Before you write anything, try to think what exactly you are writing, right? Before giving up on something, try to learn to achieve it. Like, how can I get that? Before even like accepting a defeat or anything. And before dying, try to learn the life, right? Another thing is, don't make too many mistakes in your life in such a way that, let's say if you are writing with a pencil, then you make so many mistakes, and then you use lot of times you use eraser. So eraser is like basically worn out before the pencil is over, right? So don't make too many mistakes in that way. Same thing is, don't use eraser in such a way that paper itself is torn out. Otherwise, like you keep like erasing it, and then paper itself is gone. So don't make that many mistakes in your life. So that is the reason association is real key. Never be proud of your age as well as money what you earn, because whatever is counted is bound to end, right? It's not endless, it's going to end when we live our life, right? So we live with our like parents, family, friend, wife, kids, and everybody, right? When we live a grihastha life. So when we die, the wife is only up to the doorstep. Usually wives or ladies, they don't go to even to the cremation ground, right? Your body is taken to cremation ground by your families and friends. So they will take you up only up to the cremation ground. The sun gives Agni. So sun will only up to giving Agni to your body. And rest everything they are not there. Only thing which remains with you all the time is your karma, which has power to take you to moksha. Nothing else. Only your karma which will remain with you all the time. Okay? Birth is given to you by others. You never ask like, okay, I wanted to like born to such like this mata and then this father, right? So birth is given to you by others. Education is given to you by others. Whatever you earn, your livelihood, whether you do a job or whether you do business, it is given to you by others, right? Whatever respect you get in your life, that is given to you by others. The very first bath is given to you by others, and very last bath will also be given to you by others, right? But what we do is we continuously keep occupying all the wealth without realizing that after the death, this wealth, what you occupied throughout your life, will be distributed by others only. You don't take it with you, right? After you die, nobody, you yourself can't even go to cremation. Others will take you to the cremation ground, right? But still, when we live our life, we have so much of pride that we always think that I am the enjoyer, I am the enjoyer, and I am the enjoyer, right? Right? When we get sorrow or when we become dukhi, then only we remember God as well as our near and dear ones. So sorrow is very fortunate. But when we get money, we get puffed up and we even forget our own people. So money is so unfortunate. So think about that. Our human body is made out of 70% of water. But when it's injured, blood comes. Water doesn't come out. But and at the same time, our heart is made out of blood, right? But when heart is hurt, water comes out of your eyes, right? So basically the person who gives birth is called Mata. But when we die, we turn into Mati. So life is nothing but just that difference between two words, Mata and Mati. It's like that E. Whoever like knows Devanagari script, they can easily relate the difference between how you write Mata and how you write Mati, right? So that Ti, which is just one thing on top of that Ta, is our life. So live our life in such a way that now we have got this human form of life, which is the very basic thing, athatho brahma jidnyasa, right? That's what we say now. So therefore, so understand that basic and try to live this life in such a way that that karma takes you to moksha. So thank you, Prabhuji. I just wanted to pass on this message.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. I think you shared this in the WhatsApp.
WhatsApp group as well.
Yeah, so that is very important. So from this particular context, what we take home today is how Bhishma Pitama was so energetic, enthusiastic, and by the discussion what we had just now, we see how important the association is, right? So that is why even all the scriptures, they say associate with the sadhu sangha. Sadhu sangha, sarva shastra koi, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. So he says lava means 1/11th of a second. So even if you associate 1/11th of a second with any sadhu who has all these characteristics we just learned now, then that is the justification of your life existence. Sadhu sangha, sarva shastra koi, lava matra sadhu sangha, sarva siddhi hoy. Sadhu krupa guna kono kopjanai dure tako bhakti lata bij. He says that, the continuation of the sloka. So that is very important. We all know this A, B, C, D, E, right? In that association, A is association, B is book, C is chanting, D is diet, deity worship, and E is enthusiasm. So you have to have that energy and enthusiasm. So that is very important. That's what Bhishma Pitama has, and he has exhibited in this sloka, particular sloka, what we just learned, right? So thank you, and we will end here unless somebody else has anything you want to share or have comment.
Prabhuji, Nikhil Prabhu, where we have shared that one on which group? Am I there in that group?
Yes, Praveen, Bensil and Bhakti Vriksha, he shared somewhere.
I don't see Prabhuji.
Can you share it once again, Nikhil Prabhu? Even I don't remember.
Yeah, even I didn't see it, actually. I was wondering.
Yeah, he can.
Okay.
So Prabhuji, I was interested in reference, from which reference it is. So when that. So what I remember, like one of the lecture was going, so there it was, so somehow it was matching to that, so that's what I was interested in reference of that, so that if we use there, so if somebody asks for reference where from it comes, so we can use that. It's like Dhanani bhomo pasavascha goste nari griyadvare sute asmasane dehe chitaya paraloka marge dharme nago gachati jiveka. So whatever, nothing will go together, only dharma will go together. So Dhanani bhumo, as Nikhil Prabhu was mentioning, Dhanani bhumo, earlier in the olden days, people were keeping their all the money under the ground. They were keeping all gold coins, keeping there under the ground. So that will remain in the ground only when they die. So Dhanani Bhumo Pasavascha Goste. So Pasu, that animals, cows were the money on that time. Cows were the property. So property were counted in the terms of cows. How many number of cows are there? So Pasavascha Goste, they will be remain in the Gosala only when we die. So we'll not take that Pasu also with us. So the Nani Bhumo Pasavascha Goste Nari Gridware, as Nikhil Prabhu mentioned, Nari, wife, where till they give the hand. So they will remain till the door when the earthy will go out from our, means our body. After the die, our body will go from house. So Nari will stay till the door of the home. So Nari Girodare, Suta Asmasane. So our son, how long they can give the hand? So they can take us to the Smasan, cremation ground. And Suta Smasane, Dehe Chitaya Paraloka Marga. So daily we are keep on washing our body, maintaining body, everything doing for our body. So how long it will give? So when we die, it will go till us with to the Chita, cremation ground. Dehe Chitaya Paraloka Marga. Dharme na goga chati jiva eka. So only whatever dharma, austerity, whatever devotional service, whatever chanting we are doing, so that will go with us. So I was just trying to if I will get that if Prabhuji is sharing, so what reference is that, so that that will be good to use there.
Ram Prabhu, this reference. Loka is from where?
Prabhuji, Nikhil Prabhu was saying that, no, that's what I wanted to see, that which.
No, the shloka what you just said, where is it from?
This in temple, our temple, ISKCON Philadelphia temple, one of Lal Gobind Prabhu, his name is Lal Gobind Prabhu or Jai Gobind, Lal Gobind Prabhu, right, Prabhuji? He is very thin. So, no, not Jai Gobind.
Bal Govind Prabhu.
Bal Gobind Prabhu.
Yes,
so Bal Gobind Prabhu was using that. So that is still there. I don't remember the reference of that, but it touched my heart, so I remembered it. So I was searching the reference, I did not find.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so we will end here. It's already 9:15, 9:16.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Very nice class. So.
Thank you.
Nice, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yes,
Wonderful.
Dhanwad Prabhuji, very nice class. We all enjoyed. Thank you very much, all Prabhujis.
Before we end, I just want to remind for tomorrow's session, tomorrow at 7:30, His Grace Adi Gadadhar Prabhu is giving a class. He's continuing. This is the third session on Govardhan Leela 5 days. Okay. So join on time at 7:30. It will be 7:30 to 8:30.
And Sunday evening from the temple, Amarendra Prabhu's.
The evening, Amarendra Prabhu this Sunday and also next Sunday evening. Sunday feast class will be given by Amarendra Prabhu, His Grace Amarendra Prabhu. So please don't miss that also. They're very interesting sessions. And yes, inform this to your friends also. Let them join. Take the best use of these sessions. Okay.
Sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, Murli Prabhu, 1 minute, just one last comment about Sanskrit class. So we missed, I think on Tuesday, the class didn't happen, and also today it didn't happen. So there will be 2 makeup sessions, one tomorrow and one on Sunday. So I suggest that whoever is on Tuesday's batch, they join tomorrow, and whoever on Wednesday, Friday's batch, they join on Sunday. But if you have any conflicts for that time, then you can join any day, it doesn't matter. We'll be covering exactly the same thing on both tomorrow as well as on Sunday.
Nikhil Prabhu, can you post on the group?
Yes, I don't know about this class.
No, I don't want to post it in the group, Saujanya, because if I do that, then everybody will join tomorrow, and then nobody will be there on Sunday.
That's fine.
Okay.
Is it same time as the class time?
Yeah, same time, 11 a.m. But if you have any conflict on Sunday, then you can join tomorrow. And then Ram Prabhu, like if you have any conflict on tomorrow, then you can join on Sunday.
Yes, sure, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Okay, thank you, Nikhil Prabhu. Actually, Ankita was telling that the class was very interesting.
Yeah, class
She
is
enjoyed
interesting.
being
All kids are enjoying that.
Okay. Thank you.
Parima Mataji, I will send you separately. If you want to join, then your son can also join.
Yes.
I will send you all the information.
Thank you.
Okay, Prabhu. So we'll end here. I will offer obeisances to all the Vaishnava devotees who are just like the desires who can fulfill all desires and are full of compassion to the fallen conditioned souls. Vanchakalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhye vasya patitanam bhavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namah. Ananta koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Kirtane ki jai.
Hare Krishna. Thank you.
Gaur Premanandi. Hari
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 Bol.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna.